Right, morning boys and girls. I thought I'll do my last lesson today in the classroom. It's just so great being here. So we have been looking at fractions this week. We saw how you would divide a pizza and how you would start with a half and then into thirds, then into quarters, into fifths, into sixths. You could go into any number. You could go into a 26th, but it would be very, very, very small. So in fractions, the bigger the number, the smaller the piece. So you can see here on my fraction strips, and I've put fraction strips onto your next slide, you have got one whole. Now if that was a Kit Kat, you would want that whole thing. You could divide it, if you were going to share it with your brother or sister, you would divide it into halves. So two halves, you can see I've got one half and one half, but two halves equals one whole. Then I can divide it into thirds. So I've got 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, and that would also equal a whole if you added it all together. We then go down into quarters, and quarters is into 4 pieces. So I have got 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. So they are into 4 equal parts. I then go into fifths and then into sixths. So whilst if you look carefully at the bottom, my numbers are getting bigger underneath in the symbol. I've got 1/3, I've got 1/4, I've got 1/5, 1/6. So the numbers are getting bigger, but the pieces are getting smaller. So you need to remember that if someone says to you, would you rather have 1/2 or 1/6? You might think, oh, 6 sounds good, but it's actually smaller. So you want the bigger piece, especially if it's Kit Kat. Okay, boys and girls, in next term we'll start looking how fractions equal each other, and maybe if you look and you'll see maybe 2/4 equals 1/2. You might see that 3/5 equals 2/3. We're going to work around that. But for now, as long as you know you've got a whole, you've got 2 halves, 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, and 6/6, and they all equal 1 whole. Have a great weekend, boys and girls. You've worked hard this week. See how you go on the next slide with the fractions. Look at the fraction strip slide. And yeah, you guys are stars. Keep at it. Bye.